Hi, Mr. Max here. So today I am doing the application of the theory of Pythagoras using algebra. So I'm going to go directly to a few questions I have here. So a school field is in the shape of a rectangle. So if I bring up my diagram, and you can see that the side has the diagonal QS is x plus 9 meters, put it in brackets, and also x meters is q to r, and s to r is x plus 7 meters. So we are asked to find the value of x. So the rule here of thumb is that we are going to use Pythagoras because we are supposed to find the value of x, and the only way we can do this is by using the three sides that we are given. Once you are given the three sides of any right angle triangle, then you can use the theory of Pythagoras to find that missing variable or that unknown variable in this case. So I hope you understand that in a right angle triangle, the square of the hypotenuse, so we're going to take the whole x plus 9 all squared. The hypotenuse is the longest side of a right angle triangle. It's always opposite the right angle. Okay, and a rectangle, all the interior angles of rectangles are exactly 90 degrees. Right, so essentially that makes me create an equation of x plus 9 whole squared equals to x squared plus x plus 7 whole squared. So from here you just clean it up by multiplying x plus 9 times x plus 9. I still hope you know how to do the binomial um, expansion, and everything should be cleaned up. Eventually, collecting like terms, you should get to x squared minus 4x minus 32 equals to 0. Remember, all quadratic equations should equal to 0. And once you arrive at x squared minus 4x minus 32 equals to 0, you should be able to factorize the left hand side, meaning you look for two numbers, multiply, give you negative 32, and if you add them, give you negative 4. And those numbers happens to be negative 8 and positive 4. Right, so one answer is x equals to 8, or the other answer is x equals to negative 4. Now negative 4 is invalid because if you punch it here in the distance of QR, distance can never be negative. Okay, in this particular case, you put in negative 4, you still get a positive outcome. So the distance is still okay, but it's not okay here, so therefore that one does not work, and the value of x that we are looking for is nothing but x equals to 8. All right, let's look at the second question. Very similar to the first, but here you are supposed to find the area. So you have got a right angle, a rectangle again with some sides given to you. So you do exactly the same thing like before. Now you just calculate the value of x. After calculating the value of x, we're going to calculate the area of the rectangle. And the area of the rectangle is found by multiplying the length times the height or breadth or width, whatever you want to call it, and find that. So we're supposed to find the value of x like before. So for x squared plus 1 whole squared equals to x plus 1 squared plus 3x plus 6 squared. You are adding because you have the hypotenuse, which is the longer side. Right, so I have done it here, so I suggest that you also look and see if your answers are corresponding. And then I clean up the right hand side. And then I also realized that all quadratic equations should equal to 0. So eventually I end up with 6x squared minus 30x minus 36 equals to 0. Now 6 is a common factor, so you divide 6x squared minus 30x minus 36 to 0. You divide everything by 6. 0 divided by 6, 36 divided by 6, 30 divided by 6, and 6 divided by 6. So obviously you're left with x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals to 0. Now some students will come here, the 6x squared minus 30x minus 36 equals to 0, and they are going to use the quadratic equation formula or some of the stuff. Not necessary. This question factorizes perfectly. All right, and when you factorize the left hand side, two numbers give you negative 6 when you multiply, and if you add them it gives you negative 5. The numbers happen to be negative 6 and 1. Well, you take each bracket equal to 0 because if two brackets equal, the multiply to give you 0, it implies that one should equal to 0 or the other one. Right, negative 1 can't work because again, if you put negative 1 here for AD, you get 0 and the distance is not 0. We told you that this is a campsite, it does exist. So we know x is equal to 6, so this is the one we're going to use. So we're going to then use that x. So I'm going to find the length. So 3 times x, which is 6. which is 18 here, 3 times the 6, which is 18, plus the 6 is 24. So the AB, or the length, is AB. And here I have x is 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm just going to multiply 24 times 7. And that gives me 168 square meters, which is the area of the rectangle, or which is the area of the campsite. All right, so our last question here. You have got a folded napkin, has a triangular cross section of sides a centimeter, a plus 1 centimeter, and a plus 2 centimeter. So you're supposed to find the value of a. Right, so there's no diagram to guide you here, but what you need to understand, and I brought up a little hint here. So when you have something a plus 1, that means it's a1 plus 1 more, so an a plus 2 more. So a plus 2 more will be the longer side. Suppose you just substitute a to be any number. If a is 7, and 7 plus 1 is 8, 7 plus 2 is 9. So a plus 2 is the longest side. So you can draw yourselves a right angle triangle, and then you can fill in the information. And the two shorter legs can be anywhere, as long as the a plus 2 or a plus 2 more is the hypotenuse, which is opposite the right angle. So we then do the same like we did the other questions. Alright, to take a plus 2 all squared equals to a squared plus a plus 1 all squared. And you clean that up, and you should arrive at nothing but a squared minus 2a minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, and then when you are here, this should factorize. So you factorize the left hand side to a minus 3, a plus 1 equals to 0. Let each bracket equals to 0, and then you look at your two solutions. And again, the only solution that is viable is when a is equal to positive 3, which is what we were supposed to find in the first place. Okay, don't forget again to subscribe to the channel and also to hit the notification bar.